Hey YouTube, welcome back to JoJo Reviews. Today I'm going to be talking about the entirety from when it first started till last month's episode of AMC's The Walking Dead. Now that we've reached the mid-season finale and we have no more Walking Dead till February 9th of 2014. So, The Walking Dead is based on the Robert Kirkman graphic novel series by the same title. And I'm going to say season 1 was spot on with everything that happened. Of course, with the exception of Daryl Dixon. He, in comic books, did not exist. He was a character that was created especially for Norman Reedus, who, by the way, is a badass in this series. As he likes to say, one tough sumbitch. Old redneck style. But the story mostly focuses on Andrew Lincoln, I believe his name is, guy that plays Rick Grimes, which the comic series did put a lot of focus on. And the first few episodes are him trying to find his family, then finding them, then having to get go more in. The one thing that would impress me was this is a pretty much basic cable channel, and within the first 5 minutes of the first episode, it left me speechless. It was one of those holy shit that I just see what I saw on a channel like other than HBO. That it was that shocking. I mean, you can look this up probably by now. It's on Netflix. Seasons 1 through 3 are on Netflix. Season 1 was a great season. I cannot find anything I can't find anything I didn't like about the entirety of the series thus far. Everyone is just plays their roles spot on. There is that love triangle between Rick Grimes, Lori Grimes, and Rick's best friend Shane, which I kind of understand why she hooked up with him, why she did. But at a certain point, it kind of became one of those, okay, why are you continuing this? I got the feeling there's more going on still. And Rick just kind of laying it, knowing about it, but never doing much. I questioned him for a long time because of it. But again, this is not the world we once lived in, so we have to deal with it. Anyways, series follows Rick. He's a sheriff in a small little rural town in Georgia. I believe it honestly looked a bit like Macon, Georgia. But he winds up being injured on the job in the line of duty, and that was not easy to watch. After that, it follows him trying to find he goes to Atlanta to try and find his family. Then, of course, that doesn't work out. So, he winds up running into some unique cast of survivors. Aaron, Glenn being one of them. Merle Dixon, Daryl's older brother, who is like, at this point, he's just a piece of crap. You're hoping for a horrible death for him. Andrea, T-Dog, a couple others. And then back at the camp, you have Shane, you have Laura, you have Carl. This is one of those series where you see a kid grow up. You got Carol, her abusive husband, their daughter, which, of course, you never wanted to attach to a character in a series like this, because you know one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to kill each other, and they're going to get bitten by a walker, or they're just going to run. They're gonna have to split up. So season 1 wraps up with them. It's nearly escaping from death, and season 2 finds them mostly looking for Carol's daughter. Uh, and it's one of those hope against hope situations for the most part. And then you meet one of the most beloved characters, Herschel Green, more loved than Dale, who you met in season 1. But him and Herschel seem almost like they are the same character, only due to reasons they needed Herschel. Maggie Green, who starts dating Glenn, and oh my god, how can you not fall in love with this woman? She's smart, she's a little sassy, a bit of a smart, also a smart ass at times, but a very beautiful young lady. In season 2, it comes more to terms with the whole Lori cheated, but technically didn't cheat. She thought her husband was dead. Like I said, I can understand why she did, but at a certain point, they come to terms with it. You find out Lori's pregnant. That you have to deal with that factor. You have to deal with everything that's going on, and it's a lot of just them getting some downtime. The first season was more about them running quite often, never really getting that moment to breathe, except the last episode, so and a half, where they're at the CDC. So this season followed more calmly, gave them a chance to get to know these characters. Carol no longer has her abusive husband, so now she's kind of starting to cling to Daryl. Merle has long since vanished. You don't know what happened to him throughout this season. From time to time, Daryl will be out looking for Carol's daughter and get her, and he'll have a hallucination of his brother, kind of a subconscious, you might say spirit guide. Well, of course, he's not really there. But his subconscious kind of fucked up. Pardon my French, but it is. He keeps on trying to get him to turn against these people come to trust him. Then, of course, 2/3 through the season, of course, all hell has to break loose. You find out the big secret about the Green family ranch or farm, Herschel's farm, is what it's called. That he's hiding walkers in his barn, but of course he doesn't believe they're walkers or dead or zombies, let's just be honest, that's what they are. He believes they're sick and there's a way to cure them. But of course, Shane blows it way out of proportion, being the dick he is. You start finding out there's other survivors out there, which you get the feeling there were, but you start meeting some of these unsavory characters. Yeah, throughout this season, you find out how much of a dick Shane is. Near the beginning of the season, let me backtrack for a minute. Carl is hurt, so this character Otis, who lives with Herschel and his family, goes with Shane to pick up medical supplies, and in order for Shane to get back, he pretty much stabs him in the back. And it seems like it's getting to his conscience, and Dale even plays more of that role of a conscience. But unfortunately, things don't turn out right. They pretty much slaughter the whole barn of walkers, and after they are done killing the family of Herschel's family, the Green family, that are walkers, out comes Carol's daughter, which is the most heartbreaking thing because they've been looking for her for so long. And if I remember right, it's Rick that walks up. He feels responsible for it, and puts her down. And it's so heartbreaking to see this. But then, of course, Herschel says, "Pretty much, get the hell off my farm." Then he says, "Oh, you can stay, but Shane needs to go." And like days and days pass, and you never see him enforce the Shane has to go. That's what pissed me off. Again, Herschel seemed like someone who would stand by his beliefs, and then to just, no, he's still there. I'm not gonna say anymore. So I'm gonna assume that there was a part that Herschel and Rick had a discussion that would discuss that Shane can stay, but he has to start being a good little boy. But of course, as always, shit hits the fan. All hell breaks loose again, and Herd starts is just coming moseying along. All the while, Shane, being the psychotic killer he is now, is trying to set up where he gets to kill Rick because he supposedly, quote unquote, loves Lori and can be the better father to Carl and a better father to this baby. Comment below. Let me know what you thought of Shane's plan, among many other questions. But in the end, it comes down to, is it going to be Shane that gets to walk away, or will it be Rick? And they're alone, so it gives them a chance to just have it out. Of course, due to Shane's actions, he meets his fall. Again, you're looking forward to this. This guy is the asshole that you just don't want in your group. So, of course, we get to see him die. And then, shortly later, due to the noise of the gunshot, the Herd comes moseying through, taking over Herschel's farm. And it's kind of hard to watch. Again, this is another heartbreaking scene that it's been in that Green family for so long, so many generations, that Herschel is ready to die there, make his last stand there. Yet, due to Rick pulling him away, they all go their separate ways. And unfortunately, it winds up paying off. They all skedaddle. They're trying to stay together, but so much chaos is happening. Too many things are happening in this final episode. Durrell rides off on his Harley with Carol. Rick, Laurie, and Carl go they all go their separate ways. So again, this was the last episode, so I splurge watched. I just watched it straight. I did a marathon. So I mean, if I had to wait a whole year for this would have been hard to do, because you're like, okay, what's gonna happen next? But of course, season 3 begins. They're meeting on the highway where season 2 began. It was kind of neat to see it come full circle back. So they continue on down the road. All the while, they left Andrea behind. Oh my god. Who was then rescued by a mysterious hooded female that has 2 walker pets that have no arms and no lower jaw. Pretty much took their teeth out. Smart thinking. Which, as of now, we've long since gotten to meet this woman. But at the time, we had no idea who she was. Season 3 shows us that it's after a whole winter. These people survived on the road for a whole winter, just going from place to place, I'm going to assume. And right away, Rick says, "I killed Shane, and those that want to leave, leave. Those that stay, this is no longer democracy. This is it becomes the dictatorship. That whole thing we kept hearing about for a while. The dictatorship. We really see how far he's willing to go. But again, third season is probably the best season. The third and fourth season, oh my god, blew my mind. The first two were excellent. The following two are even more so as of yet. And this season was really divided into two separate stories. The first story is the dictatorship and going into this prison, kind of cleaning out. They clean out here and there, but nothing really too dramatic where they just go through and completely clean out. You did meet some pretty unique characters right off the bat. A couple inmates that stayed. A couple of them are dicks that did. Again, it's a show of just desserts, so they get what's coming to them. And two of them are kind of just trying to make it. Then we have Andrea's story, which falls into the town of Woodbury. It's a town of many secrets. Now, I've given a lot of spoilers here, but I will not spoil Woodbury. Besides, it is run by the most amazing, badass villain of all time, the Governor. I'm not even going to spoil his real name. You have to watch this to see that. And over time, they start to cross paths. The Governor is a tyrant, just like Rick at this point. They're both tyrannical leaders. Rick sort of starts to step down after a particular incident. The first incident with the Governor, where Lori does give birth to a little baby, little kick-ass, ass kicker. That's what their old names are. Ass kicker. Should have stuck with that, Rick. Should have stuck with that name. But you come attached to this little girl. But of course, Lori doesn't make it, and another heartbreaking death. Lori's death. Her own son puts a bullet in her head, so she won't come back as a walker. And then, of course, Rick goes looking for her and only finds a dead walker. Who killed him? The walker? I don't know. But he decides to do an odd dissect this walker and discovers it ate Lori's corpse, which makes no sense. Yet kind of does. I thought walkers ate living things, but I guess at a certain point they start eating dead things too. Yeah. Again, heartbreaking to watch, but it has a payoff. Then he starts hearing these creepy calls about other survivors, and it's without really spoiling anything, he just gets some calls, and over time those just stop. But of course, back to town Woodbury. Again, it jumps back and forth, back and forth. Prison Woodbury prison, just back and forth. Glenn and Maddie are long since dating now. They've never really officially said it, but Carol and Daryl are together. And one more thing about Woodbury. The big secret. How again? We find out who that character, the hooded character that rescued Michonne, is. The hooded character's name is Michonne. The one with the two walker pets. One of the most badass women ever to slay zombies. They're hidden, but of course, they're found by Merle Dixon. Last we saw in season 1 was, all season ago. We had a season without him pretty much, but now he's back. He's kind of the Governor's right-hand man. He'll do the dirty work. Then, of course, throughout the season, like I said, it keeps going back and forth, until finally all hell just breaks loose. They finally have a sit-down. They're going to have a sit-down to talk about how they're going to live in peace. Yet, Merle decides to go out like a hero. And when he does, it kind of really redeems him in my eyes. I felt heartbreak for him. I really, really became attached to this character, Merle. Then, of course, who should find him after the governor, that tyrannical badass villain, puts a bullet in him, leaves him to change. Lo and behold, Daryl comes and finds him, and if you don't believe me how heartbreaking it is, just look this scene up. I will put a link to this scene in the description below so you can go see this particular scene. Then, of course, because of that, they decide, oh, we need to abandon the prison. So they all leave the prison, or so it seems. So when the governor pulls up, it's just a slaughter. The governor is officially nuts at this point, and proceeds, because they retreat, he just slaughters all his people. Of course, shortly, Carl and Herschel find one of the governor's troops, or it's just a citizen of Woodbury, just a kid, no older than like 14. Well, he's surrendering, and Carl just guns him down. I mean, mercilessly, without a second hesitation, just shoots him dead. Which of course leads Rick to do what he does in season 4. But in season 3, to end it, they bring about Andrea. Kind of kept mentioning throughout, she just wanted peace. She just wanted to keep everyone happy, keep everyone peaceful. Of course, her naivety gets her killed. Of course, she is bit, and of course, Michonne is the one who gets to put her down. Again, you see a lot of beloved characters get put down real quick in this series. You get very little breaks between it. Also in season 3, we got introduced to Tyrese, who right throughout of the prison, because he was going nuts. He went to Woodbury, and then he leaves Woodbury and goes back to the prison because Rick is not allowing him to stay. Again, it's one of those cases where no one really stands by their decision. I guess you might say that was my biggest strike. No one ever stands by their decision, besides the governor. Again, he knew how to be a leader. What he was before he was the governor, I don't even know. He's a very much loved character to me. Asshole that he was, tyrannical dictator he was, I still love the character. Yet, season 4 begins, and life is going kind of rocky in the prison. Again, they've started to become more of a community, more people, more mouths to feed, and right away, crap hits the fan. It just hits the fan, and then it starts to slow down, and then, for whatever reason, they just start developing this fever without even getting bit. Alright, everyone's infected. If you die by any means, besides a bullet to the head, you're going to come back as a walker. So everyone starts developing this, a good majority of them develop this fever. And the first 2 are then killed. Who killed them, you don't know right away. You find out later, of course. But one of them is Tyrese's girlfriend, who he's someone I would not want to be on the bad side of. I'd try and keep him happy. As long as he's happy, everybody's happy. But this is one of those seasons where you really find out a lot about each character. No longer the dictatorship, now there's the council, which consists, if I remember right, you had Carol, you had Glenn, you had Daryl, you had Herschel, I believe you had Michonne, and Tyrese may have been one of them. Again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, people. Do not be afraid to give me correction. But, of course, we find, after about 6 episodes in this season, we did find out it was Carol that murdered them. It was murder. They still hadn't been turned yet. There was proof they were going to turn. She did out of the protection. Again, she has taken her leadership too far. Just in the same way Rick did. She's now teaching kids how to kill these walkers. And ultimately, because of this, Rick throws her out of the group. Again, I think it was justifiable. It was morally right, but strategically very wrong for him to do. I think she should have gone back to face sentence. But again, I think he had the right motive of he wanted to keep peace in the prison. Then, of course, we find the governor. And these last 3 episodes were kind of the chronicles of the governor. We find out he's finding a new family. He's kind of... I honestly believed he was rehabilitated. Yet, of course, he's not. He's still psychotic. He becomes this loving character, though. Of course, we find out later he's psychotic. Again, it becomes the chronicles of the governor. There's no other story happening. It's not switching back and forth like it did. It follows him very thoroughly. We see him. And then we see he's not going to give up power. He doesn't want to share power. He doesn't want anything. He even proceeds to kill the leader of this new group he falls in with. And then proceeds to kill the guy who follows up leadership to get the leadership. And then, of course, the mid-season finale. Oh my god, so much death, so much chaos. The governor gets these people to attack the prison. Yet again, another attack on the prison by the governor. Only this time, the dude has a tank. In this episode, words cannot express the sadness I felt in this episode. Very different from the comics. Very, very different. Those of the fans of the comics would probably hate this, but I personally loved it. Again, I haven't read too many of the comics, but this is very different from how the comic series has gone. Herschel's death. The governor wants to speak with Rick. Rick tells him, I don't make decisions anymore. And he says, well, today you're going to. So, of course, Rick has to go down there, talk with the governor. And the two have a nice little discussion. But the governor is asked, just flat saying, you have till sundown to get out. We survived on the road. Now it's your turn to go back to that. He just seems to want to take whatever anyone else is happy with. And, of course, Rick ain't having it. He, of course, is trying to tell him we can both live in the prison. We'll live in separate wings, or wards, cell blocks, and we won't talk to each other. We'll never have to see each other. Maybe one day we'll be ready. But the governor loses it and proceeds to just kill Herschel. And, of course, all hell breaks loose. The bullets start to fly. So much has happened. You're like, okay, where's Rick? How is he surviving? How is Carl surviving? And then, of course, we have Daryl's scene where it's like, oh my god, dude, look behind you. But, of course, we know they're not getting killed. Their biggest superstar on the field. But, of course, we get the governor's death. Don't know, beloved character, but the guy needed to die. And I'm happy the way they did it versus the comic. Now, I've seen how his death in the comic, and it was done by an unknown assailant. This, you see kind of a 3-part death. You have Rick beat the ever-living shit out of him, which then the governor proceeds to almost choke the life out of Rick. Michonne come up, stab the governor, and the woman he started to fall in love with, proceeds to put a bullet in his head. And then shortly after that, Rick they're starting to leave. They have the bus full of survivors. They peel out. You got Daryl. He hops on a bike with one of the girls that Tara started to view as a daughter. They take off, which I think she's probably one of the safest. But the one most memorable thing is actually Rick and Carl come upon Judith, little ass kicker's car seat, and it's just bloodied. You don't see the baby. You don't know. Did someone take the baby? Did the baby get eaten? I hope not. Again, very different than the comic in this episode, but we didn't get to see what happened to little Judith. And Rick and Carl proceed to walk, and it's kind of biblical here, where Rick and Carl are doing the wounded soldier walk. They're holding each other up, arm over the shoulder, and Rick looks down at Carl and says, "Don't look back, Carl. Never look back." And it just ends right there. Nothing else. It ends. The Random Tyrannical Governor ends. Everyone's gone their separate ways, and we don't know what will happen now that the series is wrapped up till February 9th of 2014. As I said, it's left a lot. Again, a lot of people are talking about this still. Who's gonna make it? What's happening next? And I really say, wow. I don't even know what to make of it. I hope they all get to meet up again, but that sneak peek of what's going to happen next, which I'll also put a link below for, yeah, I get the feeling no one's going to meet up anymore. It's going to start doing a lot of, at least maybe for the rest of the season, where they might meet up at the end, but we're going to see a lot of, this is that survivor, this is that survivor, this is that what they're doing, this is what they're doing, this is what they're doing. Which, of course, comic book wise, does happen. So, again, Robert Kirkman is a genius with this. I mean, guy is pretty young too. I don't think I didn't say enough good things about this show. Again, the show, like I said, season 1 through 3 are on Netflix. You can buy all episodes up to date on probably the buywalkingdead.com. Go to the official website. You can buy it on iTunes. My advice, go check this series out. As of right now, before it begins again, this series is boomtastic. So, I don't even feel I should be asking you any questions. I've asked you enough questions. How would you? But the two questions, in case you're having trouble remembering, two questions that I remember asking is only question is how did you feel about Shane's death? Were you looking forward to it, and so on and so forth? And another question, who did you feel you felt more of a heartbreak for, of all the deaths, I should say, besides Herschel? We all miss Herschel, we get that. Anyways, please comment below, let me know what your thoughts are of this series, where you're hoping it'll go. Just give me your honest opinion, never mind any question, just tell me what you think about it. Again, comment, let me know. Please like this video, subscribe, and as always, much love and peace out.